Hey, it's Randy from UC Status. Today I'm going to show you one of the new devices in the Yealink UC Workstation range of products. It's the WH66. Without further ado, I'm going to show you. So here we've got the base station and charging cradle for the WH66. It features a 4-inch touchscreen, a big speaker for audio out, the microphone down there on the right. It's got a tall base here for charging the actual headset. If I take that off, just put it to the side. You got some contacts there. So it's kind of magnetic. You can see the 3 little pins there that come in contact with the headset itself. It's got a little kind of metal flap here for holding it flat so it doesn't swing too much, to make sure that the actual headset is always in contact with the charging pins. Now if I move the headset out the way and kind of move it to the side here, you can probably just about see there's actually 2 USB ports. So it runs on USB. As you can see, there's a USB cable. It's actually a USB-A to USB-A kind of male-to-male cable. You know, you give up one USB port, and I think it's really nice that Yealink have thought about that. It's one of the big complaints about docking stations or charging cradles or base stations or whatever you want to call them in the past, whether it was DECT or Bluetooth, is you'd always have to give up one of your USB slots just to actually charge, or even, you know, indeed connect the device to the laptop. Well, Yealink have actually given you 2 USB ports back, and these are, you know, USB ports for just connecting additional devices, but they're also powered USB ports. So it will charge any devices that you connect to the base station, but also just then connect them back to your PC. Here, you've actually got a little port. I don't have the accessory that goes with this, but what will go with this, and I might put it up on the screen in a sec, is actually a mobile phone wireless charging pad. If I kind of turn it around the back, you just about see it here, it looks like a headphone socket. Well, it's actually used for another accessory, which I don't have, which is actually a busy light. So it's a proprietary Yealink busy light that you can buy as an add-on that connects to the base station itself via this kind of headphone jack. So then it's got a longish cord that'll actually put it up onto your partition or outside your door, or however you'd like to display that you're busy. So just a normal. So up in the top, you've got the date and time, which is always useful at a glance. You've got the fact that there is a headset actually connected to the device, the actual charge, and then you've got a Bluetooth indicator there. Below that, you've got your name, which actually is picked up from the Teams client on the Windows device itself. You've got this says connected devices here, and then you've got, you know, an indication that you've got one connected device, and that's the USB cable back to the laptop itself or PC soft phone. Up in the right here, you've actually got a Teams button, and that's just like any Teams button on any modern device. So for instance, if you get a voicemail indication, then if you press the Teams button, it'll take you to the voicemail tab inside the Calls app in Teams. Likewise, if you can see that somebody has joined a meeting, you got that little toast in the corner, you press the Teams button and it will automatically take you to the pre-join screen, and all you have to do is press go to actually join. And of course, if you get an incoming call, if you press the Teams button, it will automatically answer and go to speakerphone mode, which is actually quite cool. It means you can answer that call, start having the conversation while you go ahead and pull the headset off the cradle and put it on your head. Down on the bottom right is a dial pad. So if I press the dial pad, and I can go ahead and press dial and call, and that will tell the Teams client itself to place that call. Now if you press on your initials, it opens up that blade menu from the left. You get a redial key, you get Bluetooth, and then in settings. So if I quickly go into Bluetooth, you can enable and disable Bluetooth, but you can also see all the other devices you've got here. This is a DECT base station that also happens to have built-in Bluetooth. It means you can use it DECT from the headset to the base station, but then use it to connect to additional devices, such as your mobile phone. So I've got it connected or paired with my iPhone down here. At the moment it's disconnected, but if I just press the menu key, I can then go ahead and press connect. And now it's actually connecting to my iPhone, which is in range, and now it's connected. So if I then go back to the main screen, you can see I've got PC soft phone, which is connected via USB, and then I've got the Randy's iPhone 11, which is connected via Bluetooth, again, to the base station. Then it becomes quite a useful device for talking using the PC client, but also then connecting to your mobile, and you can even switch between the two. Now, if I hit the menu key above the Bluetooth devices, you've got the outgoing dialer device, so you can choose between PC soft phone or iPhone 11. So depending on which device you choose here, when you bring up the dial pad, tap in a number and press call, it will use that device as the outgoing dialer device. You can also choose which device is used for media playback. You can use this to play back music or media from the phone itself. All right, so let's go back into the menu. Now if I hit status, it gives you all the firmware information, all that kind of stuff. Or you can go into basic settings. In basic settings, you can choose things like the language, you can turn Bluetooth on and off, adjust things like the backlight time, the screensaver, you can change from light to dark theme. If you enable ringtones, this becomes kind of a ringer when you actually receive a call. So if you enable dial tone, when you press dial pad, it actually gives you a dial tone to tell you you've got a line as such. You can also enable and disable keypad tones and actually adjust the speaker volume. And go into advanced settings. You can choose the wireless range, so long, medium, or short. You can choose whether to have voice announcements. Mute reminder. So I've got mute reminder turned off, and the reason is simple. It doesn't just signal you when you're speaking and it tells you that you're muted, so you know to take yourself off mute. It's constantly reminding you. So you can't just sit there and put yourself on mute, for instance, and listen to a webinar or a long meeting or something like that where you don't have to speak. It will constantly say muted in your ear every 4 or 5 seconds, and it gets a little bit annoying. So I just leave it off. You can choose the platform. So I've got it set in Teams mode. You can also set it in UC mode. You can choose whether to auto dial. So for instance, when you tap a number, rather than having to place call, within a few seconds of when you stop dialing a number, whether it's an extension or a full E164 number, it will actually automatically dial. You can choose whether to auto answer when you undock the headset, which is a nice feature. It means you can lift the headset off of the cradle, put it on your head, and it will automatically answer that call. If you don't do that, you have to take the headset off and then press the answer button, either on the screen itself or on the headset itself. It's also got something called anti-startle sound guard. So you got basic peak stop protection, or you've also got Australian G616. So if any of my Australian friends out there can explain what Australian G616 is, I'd be forever grateful. It's also got a daily noise exposure setting, so it can limit the amount of decibels. So if you're listening to media, for instance, you don't want to go overboard and damage your hearing. And you've got a reset button there that actually sets it back to the default settings. Right, so if I go back into the menu and choose Bluetooth, you may not be able to see this, but it says pairing mode. Please turn on Bluetooth on your device and select Yealink WH66. So that means when you go into Bluetooth, it's automatically in pair mode as such, and will advertise itself as being available for connection. You can actually connect up to 2 devices at any one time, but you can connect to multiple devices and you can switch between them. So for instance, if you want to connect to multiple mobile phones, or there's people sharing this workstation, it means you can connect multiple devices, and depending on who's in the area, you can disconnect somebody else's phone and use your own. So I'm just going to show you one last thing, and that's just what it looks like to answer and be in a call. So if I go over and actually place a call to myself, now you can see you've got an incoming call, and you can either press decline or answer there, or I can just press the answer button on the headset itself. Right, so I've just pressed mute on the headset. You can see I've got a little cross there. If I want to adjust the volume of the audio in the ear cups, I can do that by just pressing the volume button. I can choose to go between headset and speakerphone, for instance. With the touch of a button. I can place the call on hold. You can see it's now on hold in Teams. I can hear the little boop, beep, boop as the Teams client is actually on hold. Then I can just press resume. So if I press the menu key, you can see I've got the DTMF button there. That brings up the dial pad, so if I need to press a 1 or engage with the actual IVR on the call, or actually just dial a code to get into an audio bridge or something, I can do that quite easily. So if I had another headset paired to this base station, I can either switch between the devices, or I can bring that other headset into the call so we can all have a call at the same time. So now let's take you through the headset itself. So it looks just like any other headset, really. It's got a nice cushiony pad on the top to protect your head. The ear cups themselves swivel back and forth to conform with the shape of your ears, which is really nice. It's got nice foamy ear pads that are quite comfortable and soft on your ears. One little party piece that Yealink likes to point out on all their headset models is if you just push and give them a little twist, the headset ear cup actually comes off. It means you can change it for hygiene reasons, or again if they get damaged or need to be replaced. A little twist and a clip and they go back on nice and easily. In terms of buttons on the headset itself, there's really only 2. So on the side there is an answer end key, which is also a Teams button, and it's got a mute button, and that's it. That's all it needs. So you can mute the call just by pressing the mute button. Another thing you can do is you can actually lift the headset arm up on the side, and you'll get an audible muted in your ear to tell you the call is on mute. It's a nice feature to have, I guess, as personal preference. You've got a few different ways to mute. You can obviously press mute in the Teams call. You can press the short key itself. You can lift up your headset itself. You can press the mute button here, or you can use the button on the actual base station itself. So you're incredibly spoiled with choice on how to mute and unmute a call. The microphone itself, so you can see these little lines here, that just means that it's kind of bendy itself, and it actually has a memory. So if you bend it to kind of come around your face to have the microphone right close to your lips, it will stay that way as long as you have it bent that way. On days when you're on a lot of calls, the headset itself can actually get quite hot on your ears. I think that's the nature of the beast when it comes to these kind of leatherette ear foam cushions, but you know, it's not actually that bad. This isn't the only style of these. You can get these in stereo, but you can also get them in mono, and there are other wearing styles as well. There's also a convertible model that allows you to choose exactly how you want it. The choice is yours, and I'll show you that in an upcoming episode. All right, so I hope that's been useful to you. If it has, go ahead and like and subscribe if you can. I'd be incredibly grateful if you did, and I'll see you on the next Ditch the Box. Bye for now.